Hey, Bricks Mortar Retailers, welcome to this week's training. And this week's training is all about the profitability playbook. And this training, as always, there is a worksheet associated with it. If you want a copy of the worksheet, just pop the word worksheet below. My main aim for this training, the profitability playbook, is to really get you on the path so that you can really start to drive profitability within your store. Many of us are really focused on revenue, which is great. Revenue is so important, but the missing piece that will take your store to the next level is really focusing on profitability. And this is such a simple mistake that we as retailers take our eye off the ball when it comes to this. And even the big retailers do this as well. They get stuck. Some of them can get stuck into the whole mindset of being like a tech company where they're constantly focused on revenue without looking at the overall profitability of the business. And I would dare say this is one of the reasons, along with a whole host, of why some of the big box retailers are starting to close down, because they've just really taken their eye off the ball and they haven't maintained any sort of they haven't maintained the competitive landscape that they're treading in. And some of the aspects that I'm going to be talking about in the profitability playbook, if some of these large retailers would have just paid attention and started to implement some of these three things that I'm going to walk you through today, they would certainly be in a much better situation. So this is what we're going to roll into today. Like I said, if you want a copy of the worksheet, just pop the word worksheet below. So the main problem, as I alluded to in the introduction, was that there is this intense focus on revenue from us as bricks and mortar retail business owners. I mean, that's really all we know, because it's a really easy metric to track if we are tracking it. And it's easy to see on our profit and loss statements. Hopefully you're looking at that, the increasing revenue that's happening within our store, and hopefully that it's growing. But we're probably finding that even though we are making sales within our store, we're probably very busy, or we seem to be very busy. Hell, we are even busy within our store. Our staff seem busy. There's a lot going on within our stores, but we're probably finding that we're not actually making any money. Like, when it ultimately comes down to looking at our P&L, hopefully you're looking at your P&L, or if you're looking at the end of the month and you're trying to figure out where the hell has all the money gone, this is when hopefully we should be starting to prop up our ears and trying to figure out, oh, there's a really big problem here. And the problem stems from the fact that really nobody's actually taught us how to do these kind of things, right? How to really pay attention to profitability. And many of us don't really understand the impact of profit in our businesses. So, profit has, well, let me just jump to the next slide. Profit has so many implications on our business, and I'll run through that later on. The cause of this, right, why we don't, because we've always been told that revenue is the benchmark for our business, and we should be doing everything to drive our revenue. And if you're in one of those retail industries where you've got a stack of discounters in your space, and if you're playing the discount game and you haven't got the back end support to manage your margins, right? This is where it seems like all the work that you're doing, sure, you're driving sales, but you're not actually making any money on them. And it sort of looks good-ish on paper, but when you look at your bank account, there is not much money in there. Or when it comes to paying the bills at the end of the month, or hell, when it comes to you taking out an extra drawing for yourself, and there's no money in there, it makes it very, very difficult. And that's one of the reasons why. It's simply because we don't actually, we're not actually tracking this stuff. And profitability is one of the one of the three main pillars that I constantly talk about. You've got your cash flow, you've got your under the hood metrics, and profitability is so important as well, that you need to be keeping an eye out on. And if you get this right, if you get the whole profitability piece right, and making sure that you're focusing on profitability, and of course I'll run through later on the ways that we can improve our profitability in this workshop. That's why it's called the Profitability Playbook. But if you get this right, not only will you have much better cash flow, you will actually start to make more money. So then you will have more money in the bank account that you can use to reinvest in your business to pay yourself. But I think one of the key aspects about profitability that a lot of bricks and mortar retailers don't realize is that profit has a direct correlation to the value of your business. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm not going to sell my business. And yes, I hear this from retailers all the time. A lot of my clients say the same thing. But Alvin, I'm not going to sell my business for a few years. I get that. But as part of having this business that fulfills your lifestyle, as part of having this business that's going to fund your other investments, you need to be optimizing for profitability, because once you do that, the value of your business goes up just by focusing on these metrics. And the three of them I'm going to share with you soon. But that increases the value of your business, because the value of your business typically, especially in retail land, is a function of your profitability in the store. You probably heard of this EBITDA, earnings before interest and tax and depreciation and amortization. But your profit is directly linked to that. So if you can drive your profitability up, then you know the value of your business is based on a multiple of your EBITDA or your profit. So consequently, if you drive your profit up, you're going to drive the value of your business up, right? So even if you're not selling, if you haven't got the mindset of selling, you should be working towards this, because the whole process of driving your profitability up is just going to, I'm going to show you in a minute. I keep saying it's going to leverage your time. But also when it gets to the stage, for instance, like the value of your business is higher when it comes to, say, in reinvesting in your business, or perhaps you want to go out and get a new location, a new store. All of these metrics are in really good, show the bank that you actually know what you're doing, and it's going to make it so much easier for you to get loans. And guess what? When you get the next store, if that's what you want to do, and you focus on this again, it's going to just snowball, and it's going to allow you to get the next store after that if you want to. But that's one of the main things when you get this right. So not only will obviously your profit go up, the value of your business go up, but by driving profitability, you're also going to be able to leverage yourself out of the day-to-day. And you force yourself to work on the business and all of the aspects that I speak about: cash flow, profitability, visibility of the numbers in your business. It's all about working on your business, so then you can start to take a step back from the day-to-day running of your business, which is so important for you to create the lifestyle that you want and take your store to the next level. So really, really important that you get this stuff right. Okay. So how do we do it? So there are a couple of steps. There are so many steps that we can take to improve profitability in our stores. I will just run through three of the major ways that I work through this with my clients. Obviously, this is going to be a very quick overview, but you can take the worksheet, and you can try and implement this in your business, and you will have really, really good results. Obviously, if you want some help, reach out and we can work. We can work with you to start to implement this in your store. So, what are the three major things that you need to do to drive profitability in your store? And the first one, which scares everybody, not only in retail, but every other business, is the process of raising our margins. So this is beyond raising our prices, right? So everybody knows, well, I don't know, everybody's scared. I don't know if everybody knows. That's a bit of a misdemeanor, but we all know intrinsically maybe that we need to raise our prices. A lot of us are scared. We're scared we might piss off our customers. We're scared we might piss off Mrs. Smith. This is such a common issue. But what you need to do is you really need to understand that you can't, if your margins are low, it's very hard for you to continue to operate your store. The only way you win that game by low margins is having really good supplier deals so you can get the rebates, and also you need to be continuously driving sales as well from the front. But increasing your margins, you need to do it in an intelligent way. So you need to start looking at all aspects of your store and figuring out what's a known value item, what are things that people are aware of the pricing of, what do they don't, what products people don't necessarily know the pricing of, what's the value component that you're bringing to the marketplace, right? Hopefully, you know your exact target market, you know your ideal customer, and you know what they value, and you know what value proposition you have within your store that you are providing to your customers as part of your whole solution selling. and you can build that into your margins. So you need to raise your margins. Don't just go increasing the price across the board, because that's a recipe for disaster. But you need to have some sort of methodology to do it and raise your margins intelligently. And it's something that you need to be continuously doing. Really, really easy thing to do. And that's the quickest way to improve profitability in your store, obviously, by raising the margins of the things that you sell. Right. The next thing is we need to train your team. So I've spoken at length about creating a rock star team. And you can't be on the retail floor all the time, nor should you be, right? And you're probably realizing this if you've got a busy store, there's a whole heap of stuff going on. But if you are not utilizing your team to the best of your ability, you're just totally missing out on sales, and you're totally missing out on profitability, because essentially your team will be there, can be there to help you drive profitability in your store. So what do I mean by driving profitability? Well, it boils back down to creating a rockstar team and training your team. So you want to make sure that you've got team training sorted for the next 12 months, making sure that you've got a system in place for team training. You're training your team not only on how to sell, but product information, making sure that they're all trained on solution selling, but just simple training. One of the big mistakes I see bricks and mortar retailers making is, many of us, we hire juniors and we hire just people into our store because we're quickly filling a position. I've spoken at length about that already, but we just assume that people who come in and work for our business know how to sell. And that's such a fallacy, because you are leaving so much money on the table if you don't have a system in place to train your team on how to sell and what to sell, as I've spoken about before. And once you start to think about these things, you start to create little sale lists and little package systems that you can train your team on selling, because your customers are already coming in, right? And we've spoken about this with our average dollar sale. They're already coming in. So if we're helping them solve their problems a lot better, we're obviously selling them more, because we're solving their solutions a lot better. And for many of us in our retail stores, excuse me, many of the problems, got no water, many of the problems that we can solve, involve more than one product or service. So we need to, this, you are the best, hopefully, usually you are the best as the retail business owner, the best salesperson in your store. And it's about making sure that we train our team to be the same. All right. And it just involves a lot of organization, creating a system and training your team. And it needs to be done regularly, right? At least once a month. So that's super, super important. The other part is managing your money. This is the third way to increase profitability in your store. And when I'm talking about managing your money, it's making sure that you've really got buckets. You've got your cash sorted into buckets so that you don't overspend on things, and that you're constantly paying yourself first, which is such a novel concept, which a lot of retailers really don't understand. But it's basically just a glorified way of having some sort of budget and sticking to it. And of course, there are nuances to this system. Get in touch if you need some help with that. So it's making sure that you've got buckets and you're managing your money accordingly, so that you are constantly paying yourself first, and you end up running your business on less, and you're training your business to run on less. So you just become far more efficient, and your operational efficiency increases by using this method. And that, it's so simple. It's very rarely done. And if it's done, it's not done properly, diligently, nor is it done, with any sort of, what's the word? Vigor or discipline. It's not done with any sort of discipline. But it is so important to increasing profitability within your store. So you want to make sure that you have that system in place. So we're about to land the ship. So in summary, we just need to, I really want to reiterate that we need to look beyond revenue within our stores and really start to understand the profitability. Make sure we start thinking profit from the beginning, thinking about how much money we're going to make. because that, as I mentioned, affects the value of your store, affects a whole heap of other parameters within your store. You can have a store turning over 2 million bucks with very low profitability, or a store turning over 1 million bucks with high profitability, and the $1 million store revenue store can be bringing home so much more money for you because of because they've really engineered the business around profit. And this is so important, so important, that we need to start thinking about that in our store. So, and what's really, really important is that we start taking action now. And you've got the three things that you can work on here over the next month, couple of weeks or whatever, and you can start to do that within your store. Okay, so there you go. That's the profitability playbook, the three things that you need to do within your store to start to raise the profit. Profitability. As always, if you want a copy of the worksheet, just pop the word worksheet down below. If you want to work with me and the team to start to grow your bricks and mortar store, as long as you're turning over at least $1 million, got a team of 3, reach out and let's see how we can help you take your store to the next level. Until next time, thank you very much. Catch you later.